Alright. This Iron versus Chilla just dropped. Let's go ahead and see what it's hitting for, man. Round one.
And for all 3 rounds, I'ma show you why they call me that. What up, Iron Aaron? Now that I see what Iron Heron, I'm Iron Aaron. Gunshots is what Iron Heron hit Iron Aaron.
Hold on. What?
What up, Iron Aaron? Now that I see what Iron Heron, I'm Iron Aaron. Gunshots is what Iron Heron hit Iron Aaron when Iron Aaron. I point a gun down at his young child. Do Iron Aaron with Iron Aaron. Soon as Iron Aaron, his head explode. They need a bowl to put his Iron Aaron. Now Iron.
No. Nope. Nope. Nah. It's the first round. Yeah, because I can already tell what type of battle this is about to be. Let's try this again.
What up, Iron Aaron? Now that I see what Iron Heron, I'm Iron Aaron. Gunshots is what Iron Heron hit Iron Aaron when Iron Aaron. I point a gun down at his young child. Do Iron Aaron with Iron Aaron.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your man Ryan Michael, back at you with another recap. Today we're going to be talking about Chilla Jones versus Iron Solomon. This battle was the co-main event, I guess you could say, of Massacre 4, which is the Head Ice versus Nims card from King of the Dot. And in my opinion, so far I feel like this might be battle of the year. So I felt like I should talk about it. First round, I had Chilla Jones winning pretty clear. In Chilla's first round, he opened up with slight Boston reference, just to get a quick crowd reaction. But the Iron Aaron wordplay was stupid, bro. Like, it almost frustrated me on my second watch of this battle, because that was when I was actually trying to decide a winner and break down every bar and all of that. The battle itself is 40 minutes long. I literally sat for half that time to decipher 4 bars in Chilla's round. So off the top, like, that's crazy to me. I felt like this first round, Chilla was mixing it up really well as far as his lyricism goes. You can tell that he's completely evolved from being, just a schemer like people thought he was on URL when he first became popular. He was going from schemes to the multis, 4-bar setups, 2-bar setups. He had humor mixed in there, crazy punches. So he was doing everything in his first round. I feel like he had some decent references. Like, he had some Jewish references, like the Hitler killed Jew, and frankly, he had the Crip angle that ended with Iron's biggest job is to help blood and all of that. He also had some Boston references, which to be honest, I felt like he would do that more in the first round, like, being that the battle is technically like a home game for Chilla. I felt like he would get heavy into the Boston references early on to get the crowd on his side. He didn't really do that too much in the first round. He kind of sprinkled it here and there, and even then it wasn't like straightforward Boston angles. It was more so like the Metal and Logan, like William Stryker bar. Like, that's heavy wordplay, and if you don't Google it to know that Logan is a airport in Boston or whatever, you might not even understand that. But again, it's something that goes over well with the home crowd, so I wasn't mad at it at all. He also included Brigham and Women's Hospital, the Celtics scheme, and all of that. And I give him points for doing Boston, pandering to the Boston crowd, but with rhymes that were super creative. I gave him huge points for that. Also, his round was, including crowd reaction, his round was about 2 minutes longer than Iron Solomon's, which is something I also keep in mind when I'm judging battles, just because if you give more time than another person, then it's a considerable amount of material, in terms of offsetting from your opponent, you know what I mean, which I think you should be credited for. Iron Solomon goes in the first round. He had a quick rebuttal that was simple but effective as far as the Boston references. To me, it did a good job of setting the pace for Iron Solomon's round. It's like rebuttals and things of that nature are a good way to begin to shift the momentum or to get the crowd's attention after a round as good as Chilla's round. He had a lot of quick 2-bar setups opening up that were about other MCs. Like he had the Averb reference, the Rum Nitty reference. He also had other stuff that I liked in the first round, like the give me half the bread, you'll get an open face. I thought that was fire. Dance quicker than a Jeffrey rant. He also went at Thesaurus. I forgot to mention him earlier. Once he finally directed his bars towards Chilla, he sped up the tempo, and he was more multi-syllabic and with his rhyming and all of that, like the, catering to the KOTD style or whatever, and did less punching until he got to the don't step to me if what you kick's full gaze. I made Nitty look like a bird in the Blue Jays. He had an angle about Chilla schemes being forced, and then right after he said that, he said riding this style he on, like till he's beating a dead horse. And it's like, you can't say somebody's forcing something and then force style he on as stallion. Like, I don't know if there was something hidden in that or whatever, but from what I got from it, it just seemed like he forced something right after saying Chilla Jones schemes was forced. So I feel like you got to take away points from him for doing that. The line that I wrote down that stood out to me the most, I guess, from Iron's first round was you gonna fall from the status, you ain't season and a half, get raked across the yard, tonight he leaves in a bag. And then he finishes his round with the Sub-Zero fatality bar, which was cool. I feel like Chilla Jones won in almost every category. I gave Iron the better angles and better cadence, and I gave him points for opening up with the rebuttal. But other than that, I think Chilla kind of swept this round. So after the first, Chilla 1-0. Second round, I think the battle completely flipped. The momentum completely changed. Chilla Jones tried to open up with a rebuttal, but I don't feel like it was impactful. He had the Danny Rand bar, imagine how Danny ran from Iron Fist, which was super fire. And again, he had more Boston references in this round, which again, like I said, I would have preferred for him to do the Boston references in one segment, maybe like of one round. I feel like for him to go back into that well, it's like it's almost, it's almost like you ran out of things to talk about or something like that, for you to keep going back to the same angle over and over again, even though the references are like completely different things within Boston culture. It's still all based around the fact that they're in Boston. He had the bar stealing angle with the volunteer bar that Iron said against Rum Nitty. He said he stole it from Troy Brown, which I definitely have heard. I saw the Troy Brown battle before, so I know that I've heard that bar. That's a pretty infamous bar. So for Iron to say it, I'm guessing he never saw that battle, but it's like the exact same bar. Within that angle of, calling Iron a bar thief or whatever, Chilla also kind of stole a bar or had a similar bar to Rum Nitty that he said versus Iron Solomon, which the Aaron Iron Mouth. And I mean, and Rum Nitty, called it out on Twitter. And Chilla can't say that he didn't see that battle because he he referenced the battle in saying the volunteer bar, which was in the Nitty battle. So I don't know, that kind of that whole thing is kind of shaky to me, and I guess you can take points for that. Chilla's round picked up, in my opinion, when he went with the back-to-back one-liners with the Casey Kasem, give his top 40, catch bullets from Aaron, but I'm not Jordy. The Rob Ory crying because we jacked his foreign whip quick with the sob stories. I thought that was super fire, and that's when he started to pick up a little bit of momentum. He had the 33 years old angle, and then that ended with the 34 in the Boston club, get you stabbed in the back. Again, another Boston reference, but it hit hard with the crowd. I feel like overall, like just in totality, Chilla's second round was a lot lighter than his first round, which to me in a battle, I feel like your round should get better every round. You shouldn't have a crazy first round and then go downhill, because to me you're losing momentum and then you're creating an uphill battle for yourself to get back to where you were in the first round. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to if you start off with, let's say, a mediocre first round and then have a great second round and an amazing third, it just looks better. It comes off better on the replay. And at the end of the battle, you're more likely to think that the person who finished strong won the battle, as opposed to the person who started strong and then kind of fell off somewhere in between. Iron goes into his second round and he rebuttals the age angle. I'm 36. I should have pre-warned you. After tonight, I'll be up another 3 on you. Again, simple but effective rebuttals that, to me, it starts to change the crowd's attention to you. It puts momentum in your favor. I've seen this in 1,000,001 battles, and I think that's why battlers try to rebuttal so much, because it's really, when you can do it effectively, it's a really powerful tool. And I think that was the start of the momentum changing in this battle permanently. This round, he was immediately direct with bars towards Chilla. He had a lot of dope wordplay as far as like the coppers and penny loafers, metal to your tongue, masking tape, stick to your roll, and all of that. I thought all of that was dope. Also, this round is a great example of how Iron, how his writing, it seamlessly weaves together. So it's hard to even pick out angles that Iron talks about in his round, because he weaves everything together and into one seamless, perfectly constructed round, man. It's not like this section of the round he talked about this section of the round he talked about that, because he just addresses everything in a way that you don't even notice when he's leaving one thing and going to the next, because he does it in a way that's crazy. There's very few people in battle rap that do this. I think the only person that even comes to mind really is JC, and even JC's lyricism is more structured, like how I was talking about before, segmented or whatever. He had the boss angle. When they say Boston, they're proud. Why you gotta say Boss Town and water it down? What's the meaning of being king? If we all have a crown, what's a boss without workers to be bossing around? That is super fire, super fire. Then he went from that to the writer's block, crisis of leadership, copywritten, if C in your circle. And then, you know, he built up to the special occasion. Rum went down without me having to chase it. Turned writer's block to Whitey's block. All of that finished off with the gentrification. Fire. And to be honest, it's probably my favorite moment of the battle. Iron Aaron is up there. That whole scheme from Chilla's first round is up there. But the gentrification, like the way that he built up to it, and like it's crazy because it's a white dude talking about gentrification, but the bar is so fire, it's like undeniable. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how crazy that was to me. He could have ended it after the gentrification bar, and the round would have ended on a crazy note. But even still, with the extra, you know, material, I feel like Iron literally swept this round. Like there isn't any category that I feel like Chilla was better than Iron at. In my opinion, we going into the third 1-1. In the third round, Chilla Jones, he starts his round and he goes for about 16 bars. And to me, this is why I say the momentum had completely shifted to Iron Solomon's side. If you watch the pay-per-view, this is even more evident, like the live pay-per-view. They were talking throughout his entire like first 16 bars to the point where Chilla literally, he tried to rap over them, and then he just had to stop and address the crowd. Like he had to break his round to address the crowd for talking. And I think that's because Iron's second was so crazy. It's cut in the actual battle that's on YouTube. So, you know, when you see the cut, like it's not smooth, you know what I'm saying? There's a cut. They cut out the part where he addressed the crowd and told them to be quiet or whatever. So after that, he went into his Bender tribute, which, you know, it was cool, but it's like it's kind of like it's more pandering, you know what I'm saying? He pandered to the hometown crowd with all of the Boston references in every round and all of that. And now he's pandering to a KOTD audience who just lost, you know, a legend. You know what I mean? Respect to Bender, but I didn't think anything that he said throughout that whole thing was like super fire. It was just, you know, I'm a rap, you know, I'm a rap like Bender. And it's like, that's cool, but it's kind of easy to lose ground on somebody if you're not doing anything to really push for, you know, your round to be that much better than Iron Solomon's. And I don't think, you know, you doing a tribute to Bender helps you accomplish that goal. You know what I'm saying? The album angle, which ended with even Alchemist couldn't get Iron to go gold, I thought that was stupid fire. That was crazy fire. He had the Avengers scheme. Half of Marvel be gone. I think Thanos did it. That was dope. And as the round went on, he had like decent 4-bar setups. I don't think he was mixing it up as much as he was in the first round. Again, you know, he set the bar so high for himself with that first round that it's kind of like when you come back with 2 rounds that aren't as good as your first, it's hard for it to look like you won the battle. You got 3 O's in your name. I have 3 O's to my name. It's funny because Iron Solomon actually has 4 O's in it. And I mean, obviously, I guess he's talking about Solomon has 3 O's in it, which is cool. But just like Chilla is so technical, it's like, how do you not see that? Like, that people are gonna, you know what I mean? Technically, it has 4 O's, but it was a cool bar. And then at the end of his round, he basically was shooting at Head Ice. You know, basically making a statement that he wants to battle for the chain, which I definitely think Chilla is very deserving of. At this point, I think it's a very small amount of people who could battle for the chain. I'll talk about that later on. But solid round from Chilla. Iron goes in the third round. His round, this was actually with crowd reaction the shortest round out of either side of the battle. But it's short for a reason. And that reason is the entire round is an angle. And I think it was a very strong angle, and it was an angle that won the battle for Iron Solomon. The only part of this round that wasn't an angle was the first 8 bars, which was like an elaborate setup that led into Iron Solomon having a Champion of the Year Haymaker bar with O-Red choking and all of that. Fire. The rest of the round was an angle about Chilla Jones being the king of scheming. And basically how Iron Solomon started the style or whatever. Or not even that he started the style, but he mentioned that he was scheming, when he battled Math. You feel me? Which is very accurate. He also, I feel like he gave a shout out to Serious Jones in a slick way. Like he said, "Are you serious, Jones?" Like addressing Chilla, but I feel like he, Iron is such a good lyricist that I felt like he did that for a reason. And again, he just keeps going, like the copy text Command C does not compute, not an original typewriter, and that's key. Fire. Slinky, round stretched out, story is stepped down. Railing on them is levels to this. All like just this entire round is fire, just the way that he makes it fit with the angle. He ends very strong with "You truly are Martin Luther King Pen Jr." To me, I feel like this is another clear round for Iron when you really break it down. I think Chilla had better punches and he was probably more intense, but in pretty much every other category, I would say that Iron had it won. As far as what's next, Iron Solomon has Big K on the Rare Breeze card on RBE. I'll have a prediction blog on that most likely, or if I don't do a blog, I'll definitely do predictions on my Twitter. I'll probably put that like right here. Follow me for those. I do predictions on like every event. I don't see how Big K can beat Iron Solomon. I respect Big K and the things that he's done in the past. He's beating people who I didn't expect him to beat on RBE, like he beat JC. So while he has a chance to prove me wrong, I just don't feel like Iron Solomon. I don't see him losing to Big K for any reason. I think that'll be like a really clear battle. As far as Chilla goes, like I said before, I think he's very deserving of a shot at the chain. I think even stylistically, the matchup between him and Head Ice is really interesting. If it's not Chilla that gets the title shot, then I guess you could say like A Ward or I don't know, maybe Pass. But like, there's not a lot of people who get mentioned a lot as far as like the next title shot. He also has a battle with Born in August. The same card that New Jersey Twerk is battling Danger Zone. And I think that all of those battles are judged with money on the line. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that they're judged because I think they're judged by J Black, Tech Nine, and Jazz. I want to say he said that he got a call for Smack Volume 3. So if he was to battle on URL, I would love to see him battle. Like, I would love to see Chilla Jones battle like a Av or a Loso or maybe Ryder or somebody who, like, in that small room he can really have a good back and forth with lyrically. O-Red maybe, another person. But either way, I don't know that we'll see him on URL because he said that he's really focused on working for the chain, and I think that's honorable, and that's something that it'll add to his legacy. I saw a conversation maybe a month or so ago he had a back and forth with Angry Fan and some other people on Twitter, as far as people basically saying, is Chilla Jones a legend or not? And I don't really care to give an opinion on that. I don't really have too much of an opinion. But I think if he was to win the chain and be KOTD champion, I think that speaks towards him. If you don't think he's a legend, it speaks towards him gaining that status at some point, because winning the chain is something that's noteworthy. You know what I mean? So I would love to see him get that title shot. I would love to see him battle Head Ice. Maybe on the Decades card that they got coming up, maybe on World Dom. I don't know exactly, when that would happen. But either way, that's something that I'm looking forward to. Shout out to both MCs for an incredible battle. Definitely my pick for Battle of the Year thus far. Even though we still got a long way to go. If you're still here, I appreciate you watching the video. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe. I got more stuff coming in the near future. More documentary style stuff that I'm working on, more recaps. So yeah, I appreciate you. My name is Ryan Michael. I'll see you next time. Peace.